How to become an American without invading Grenada. Today is my last day as a Mexican. After years of immigrant misery, I'm finally about to become a U.S. citizen, which won't stop my wretched condition, but will give me the right to vote for it. I'm also a third world nationalist and suffer the added guilt of becoming an enemy of my soon-to-be former self. So I grabbed the phone and dialed the Mexican Identity 800 number. I get a live person. Thank you for calling the Mexican Identity number. My name is Pancho Villa. How may I assist you? I'm taking my oath today, I say. I'm going to become a U.S. citizen. Will I ever be forgiven? Of course not. You're a traitor, Villa says. But Mexico now accepts dual citizenship. A traitor is always a traitor, Villa says. You have disgraced yourself by deciding to become a full-time American. In my day, we would have shot you on the spot. Such is war. But this hardly qualifies as a combat situation, I say. We're always at war. You just don't know it, he replies. Octavio Paz said nationalism is a form of ignorance. Never listen to intellectuals, Pancho Villa says. They lie, even when they're telling the truth. But Octavio Paz won the Nobel Prize, I say. Who cares, Villa says. You should always live in the reality, and only war brings you to reality. I remember the violence, the killings, the unnecessary bloodshed. Ah, those were the days. I missed the revolution. This isn't helping me. I'd like to speak to your supervisor, please, I say. Villa ignores my request. Join me, he continues. We could fight Ricky Martin and rid Latin America of that idiot. We could do humanity a favor by shooting Julio Iglesias. Even the imperialists would approve of that. Think of the damage that half man has done to our ears. Worse than 500 years of genocide. Join the revolution. Mexico needs you. Is this really the Mexican identity line, I ask? I'm offering you a way out, a way to redeem yourself. I hang up. I realize magical realism isn't going to save me this time. I will have to face my metamorphosis into Americanness and the corresponding guilt quota on my own. I grab my green card and leave my studio apartment. The icy San Francisco wind immediately freezes my nose and cheeks. I run down the street, catch a bus, and half an hour later I reach the Masonic Center. The building is a 1950s structure built in what can only be described as a late Mussolini style. There is bleakness here that hurts the soul. Finally, something I can understand. I walk inside, go straight to the shrine of the goddess of stress, the restroom. The place is impersonal, white, remote, numbing, just the way I like it. I turn the faucet, warm water flows through my fingers. I'm still amazed how public restrooms in America always seem to have hot water. I splash some in my face, look at myself in the mirror. What happened to me? I was raised to be a patriotic Mexican. As a kid, my school took us to El Zócalo to support the nationalization of the banks, and later turned me to curse the new president for opening the floodgates to cheap imports, destroying Mexico's fragile internal market. This calamity had a name, NAFTA. But those nationalist dreams melted away like butter under the Acapulco sun. The middle class was wiped out. Poverty was drowning half the population. What future was there left? What choice did I have? It was time to migrate to the States, and I plunged into the streams of wandering souls towards El Norte, putting myself at the mercy of the same forces that destroyed my world. And now, here I am in a restroom, alone, about to take my final step towards complete betrayal. I feel lifeless and vaguely nauseated, but I guess that's normal if you're about to become an American. I walk into the main hall, stand in line with the rest of the immigrant cattle, hundreds of people of all nationalities, Indian, Filipinos, Chinese, East Europeans. I find a seat, sit down. The person next to me says, "Hi." Somehow he decides I need help understanding the schedule for the ceremony. "This is now, then this, that. See?" he says while pointing at the schedule I hold in my hand. What is he talking about? I can tell he's nervous. His hands are shaking. And then there's the oath. See? The oath? What the heck is the oath? Oh, he means the oath, the big moment when we all become gringos. Thanks, I say. No problem. For a moment, I reflect on our immigrant struggles, those INS interviews, a horror straight out of Joseph Conrad. Now we have to say this, see? Says the guy next to me while showing me his schedule. I nod again, pretending to understand. He smiles satisfied. Nice guy. The judge gives us a long speech about the solemn matters that should pertain to us impending new Americans. Soon we'll have the right to vote for either of the two parties that don't represent us. Soon we'll have the right to fight foreign wars for reasons nobody fully understands. But now it's time for the oath. We must all stand up, the guy says. I stand up. The guy next to me is still convinced I need help. See, that's a jury, he says, pointing around at my program with his fingers. Now the oath, see, he says, right here. I nod. My heart is pounding. I feel like a child. I can't help it. I really believe in this. In spite of my hardened third world cynicism, I could cry. We recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I mumble the wrong words in 2 or 3 places, an appalling way to enter my Americanhood. Then the moment arrives. 2 magic words will instantly turn us into Americans. 2 words will end our existence as third world dropouts or former shantytown dwellers and turn us into imperialists who invade Grenada and refuse to sign the Kyoto Protocol. Hey, why not? The contradictions of postmodernism will tear us apart anyway. I'm sweating, I can't think, I can't breathe, and I feel as if I might pass out at any moment. We all raise our hands. The auditorium becomes a forest of eager palms. Then we let out those 2 magical words, I do. And just like that, I'm transformed into an American. The guy next to me shakes my hand. Congratulations, he says, while I stand there, dumbfounded. Thanks, I manage to say. Some weep, embrace one another. I'm alone. I walk out of the place feeling as lost as ever. I put on my jacket, pull up the zipper. The wind outside hits me hard. It's still very, very cold, but somehow I no longer care.